Hello everyone, welcome to my next solo guide. I hope you enjoy. As far as gear goes, the most important thing is to have a main hand and an offhand Drygor. For the main hand, I use the mace because the Drygor weapons are almost equal, just some of them are better for different bosses. But since Nex, you're going to want to conserve your prayer, and it has a 9 prayer bonus, which is very useful. For the offhand one, I prefer the rapier because before EOC, when I knew Nex was weak to stab, and I would always use my chaotic rapier there to hit much better than all the other ones. So I'm guessing that they didn't change that in EOC, so that's why I use the offhand Drygor rapier, but it doesn't really matter that much. For the armor, it doesn't really matter, but you're gonna want, for decent armor, you can have like bandos with a hood of subjugation, gloves, and boots. The bandos, it gives a nice, decent damage bonus, and it's pretty cheap. If you have Drygors, you should be able to afford it. I use a mage helm because it doesn't affect your accuracy, but Nex uses a mage and melee attacks, and this gives the most defense against bows. The gloves and boots don't affect the accuracy either. Some people prefer using Ganodermic. You can also use Virtus if you have enough, but I prefer this because it has a prayer bonus. And I'm not using Virtus because this is a low setup. An Arcane Spirit Shield is a good shield because it's very cheap. If you have Divine, you should definitely upgrade because you don't get a magic, a melee attack accuracy decrease. Some people prefer to use a Chaotic Kite Shield or like an Arcane, Farseer if they don't have enough, or if they don't have a Chaotic, because it doesn't drain your prayer. They're both very good, but I'll be using Arcane for this setup. An Amulet of Fury is a good amulet. Some people prefer to use Serdalman's Whisper. It is better, but it's a 0.2 melee critical hit difference, and it's not significant at all. For a ring, some people prefer to use an Onyx ring, which gives a 2.7% critical hit to all of them and some armor. But I prefer the Ring of Vigor for soloing, because for Ice Phase and for anything, when you're using ultimates, it gives you like 10% adrenaline left after you use them. That's very helpful because that's like 3 abilities, and especially in Ice Phase, because you're going to want to have adrenaline, so you can use Barricade and Immortality and Rejuvenation for the Ice Prisons. The best Scrimshaw, in my opinion, is the Scrimshaw of Vampirism. This heals you every time you hit Nex, and it actually stacks up over time, especially if you're doing a lot of damage. For a cape, the best, in my opinion, is a Tokar Cow. So if you don't have that, you can always use a skill cape, and that's pretty much it for the gear. If you have a lot of money, you can upgrade to full Torva. Not only does this give like 2k extra defense, HP, it also gives a set effect, which is plus 23 damage, and all the Torva pieces give a set effect as well. This comes in handy, and you'll end up killing Nex much faster. You can use a Chaotic Kite Shield with the setup also, so your accuracy won't be hindered. The best, in my opinion, is full Tetsu or full Superior Tetsu. I don't think regular Tetsu, the gradable one, is worth it, because it's like, I don't know how much it costs now, but after like 10 hours you have to buy a new set, which is at least 50 mil. But some people think it's worth it. But the best, in my opinion, would be Superior Tetsu, because that gives lots of HP and lots of damage reduction. So you take much less damage. Torva is slightly faster, but then again you take more damage. For the action bar, this is my setup. Sever, Slice, Punish, and Kick for the basic abilities for attacking. I have Debilitate, which is a threshold. It reduces the damage Nex deals you by half for 10 seconds. Slaughter, well, you should know what Slaughter does. When I have kick with Iron instead of backhand or one of the other ones, because for slaughter, when I use it, I can move Nex with kick. That way she takes 3 times damage from the ability. This is the defensive action bar. Anticipation. This is for mostly the ice prisons, but also for the smoke phase. Smoke phase, she uses her drag attack quite often. You can use this, and it gives you immunity from getting stunned by that for 10 seconds. Also for the ice phase, right before she uses the ice prison, you can time it and use this. That way you won't have to use freedom, and you can eat up or use resonance and preparation or an ultimate right away. Freedom is also for when Nex drags you in smoke phase. You can use it instantly for yourself. Both these abilities can be used just to gain adrenaline. Freedom is also used most importantly in the ice phase, so you have to use it to unstun yourself in the prison so you can eat or use an ability. Assault is just a good threshold ability that everyone should use. Resonance lets you heal from your next attack, so you can use this most advantageously in Zaro's phase, because if you move away a step and turn off your protect magic, you can heal up to 4 to 5k, because the magic attack it hits extremely hard without you having your prayer on. And preparation reduces the cooldown for resonance by 3 seconds each time you're hit for 10 seconds. I have barricade as the ultimate for the defensive bar because that's for ice phase. I use that more than I prefer that over immortality. It protects you from damage for 10 seconds. That's the defensive one. The attacker action bar. Move it. I also have Sever, Slice, Backhand, which is a dual wield ability. I use the offensive one when you put on your dual wields. Your offhand Dragor. Kick also for when I'm using Slaughter. Punish, Slaughter. Flurry, which is a good offhand threshold. And Destroy, which is also a good offhand threshold. Assault, Anticipation, and Freedom. Berserk is for the blood phase. I prefer it over using another ultimate or just keep spamming thresholds, because it lets you do double damage, and most of the time it's enough to get past the blood phase without a siphon. Okay, to get there you're going to want to have a couple of items. First, and most importantly, you're going to need your frozen key. This lets you open the door to get into the Zaro's KC room. It's going to have to be charged. You charge it at your house. You pay 10k per use if you're 99 smithing, and 20k per use if you're not. It can hold up to 5 charges. Mine's at 3 right now. To get in without having to get the 40 kill count, which takes forever, you're going to want to buy an ancient ceremonial set. I'm not sure how much it costs now, but it's definitely under 1 mil, so it's totally worth it. Here you want to get a teleport to GWD. You can use a Troll Item teleport with runes, or you can make a teleport to House tablet. You modify it and turn it into a Troll Item tablet. This requires the Edgar's Ruth's quest. I also like to take a couple rocktails and a prayer potion just in case. Yeah, because if you die in there, you might lose your key, and I don't want to risk that, so I always bring some food and some prayer. Also, before going there, not many people know about this, but if you've done the Ritual Mahadrat quest, you can go to the Gladecore room. This gives you a 4-hour a boost to your combat. It's 5% for GWD or 4%, and it lasts for 4 hours. Some people don't think this is worth it, but I like to get it anyways. So just teleport to Varrock. Walk up. This is World 2. This is the world I was on. Pretty laggy. Take the GE shortcut. go south and into the fairy ring. Okay. Now, it's usually the first code DKQ, the Glaycore Cave. Once you go in, you get a boost. Your character will do that. Once he does that, teleport to Trollheim. Climb the cliffside. Climb this cliffside. And these rocks. Just go north, west, and past the trolls. You just squeeze past or lift the boulder. It doesn't matter which one, but squeezing past is a little bit faster. Climb down the hole. And rest at the entrance. If you have Torva, Pernix, or Virtus, or the Zarya bow, none of these people will attack you as long as you have it on. Even if they do attack you, it's no big deal, but you're going to want to have your armor on because they'll easily kill you if you're just going your ancient ceremonial. I've seen people die countless amounts of time because they don't bring any armor, they just go their ceremony. Once you're rested up, just run it there, south, and go through the frozen door. It'll take up 1 charge of your key. Pray Mage. And run east past all these Zaros KC monsters. And get to the big door. Once there, put on your ceremonial. And go in. Finding a world is, at this time at least, very, very hard at Nex. So whenever you find a world, you're going to want to vex it. Some people don't respect the vexes, but if you have a PVM clan, you can easily get an anti-crash. But even if you don't have a PVM clan, just put your any vex there anyways. You can just make your own clan and just put the vex there. So that way, even if a person can't crash you, but he can't put his vex, because if he puts his vex, they'll come anti-crash you even if he's crashing you. So always put your vex whenever you find a world. It disappears approximately every once in an hour, so just make sure you keep replacing it. And yeah. Also, if you log out, it will automatically disappear, so whenever you log out, replace it as fast as you can. For your inventory, you're going to want to start off with an overload and a prayer renewal. You need 3 or more doses. 2 is fine most of the time, but you should just bring 3 or more to be safe. An adrenaline potion. And your offhand Drygore. You're also going to want to get, depending if you're using a chaotic shield or a spirit shield. For a spirit shield, you're going to want to have 7 prayer potions and your ring of wealth. Ring of wealth is very, very important because without it, it's an approximately 1 out of 35 drop rate for next item, and with it, it's about 1 out of 25. So ring of wealth is a must. You put it on right at the end. The rest is pretty much rocktails. For your familiar, you can use a yak. It requires 96 summoning. You just fill it up with rocktails. And For people that have a tackle box, I personally don't have one, but the best tackle box can hold about 30 raw fish, so raw rocktails. So basically a yak. And you're familiar to be a bunyip, which can eat that fish with its scroll. And it also heals you with the passive effect. The good thing about a bunyip is when you're using its scroll, you don't have to, it doesn't lower your adrenaline. So if you have it, you should use it over the yak anytime. But I don't have not even the lowest tackle box right now, but I might work on that in the future. So if you're using a bunyip, you're going to have about 2 raw fish in your inventory, same prayer potion amount and everything, ring of wealth, offhand, adrenaline potion overload. About 2 raw fishes and the rest cooked fish. Only use the cooked fish when you need to eat really fast, like for the ice prisons. Otherwise, you can just use your scroll and heal you out throughout the kill. Whenever you use the fish in your inventory, you just withdraw from your tackle box. You're also going to wanna, if you have the fire making level, burn 5 of the highest level logs you can burn back to back consecutively. Light a fire. This doesn't include the one you use to start the fire. This gives you, depending on the logs you burn in your fire making level, up to a 10% HP bonus, 5 or 10% HP bonus. I'm not exactly sure. Pretty sure it's 10. We'll see right now. A 10% HP bonus to your maximum HP. This makes it easier to survive, especially for the ice prisons, and especially if you don't have Torva, because you'll have lower HP. But if you use the bonfire, you'll have much higher HP. About 5%, and depending on logs you burn, it'll last up to 60 minutes. Magics are the best. So then just fill up your inventory with rocktails. Oh, this is pretty much it. Heal up to full. Make sure you have your left click to take BOB if you're using a yak, or winter scroll if you're using a bunyip. Some people even can do more than 1 kill in a trip by having both a yak or a bunyip and a bunyip in their inventory. They can do much more than 2 or more kills per trip. Whenever the yak is done, they just summon their bunyip and use their tackle box. So that's the setup. Alright, so once everything's set up, for this kill, I'll be using Bandos, Subjugation, Arcane, Torkarkal, Fury, Dragor Mace, Subjugation, the Vigor, Scrimshaw, Vampirism, Bandos, Arcane, Hood of Subjugation. I'll have like a 22 prayer bonus with this gear, and 5.6k life points. Yak will be filled with rocktails, and yeah. So once you go in, you're going to start off on the defensive action bar. For this setup, I prefer using a shield for the first phase. What you're going to want to do is charge using your adrenaline on Fumus with basic attacks. Most people prefer only to charge it slightly, but I like to charge it all the way. It doesn't really matter, it's just personal preference. Once it's fully charged, you want to overload, renewal, and turn on your Scrimshaw. Your prayer is on, and find Nex. She'll just be wandering around the room most of the time, or she'll be in the center. First phase, while you're in melee range, you're going to use Protect Melee. And use your thresholds when you can. If she stuns you, use Anticipation or Freedom. And when she does the no escape, when she's saying there is, use your Slaughter on her as she's saying it. So when she goes to the center, you'll hit triple damage. And while she's coming back, you could put on Soul Split so you can heal. Use Debilitate when you can, as will reduce damage she does to you. If she disables your prayer, you can use resonance to heal the attack, and as here, just use slaughter because she did there no escape. With spirit shields, you'll find that your prayer drops very oftenly, so you're always going to want to keep an eye on your prayer. With chaotic kite shield, it's much less of a problem. Also, if you have better gear or you're confident in your abilities, you can dual wield this first phase. It's much faster, but you take more damage. Spam basic abilities on the minions. Use anticipation, so if she drags you, you won't be stunned. And dismember. I don't think it's worth it to use dismember on Nex, but on the minions it's pretty good. Just keep killing it. You might get poisoned. If you want, you can bring Sanfu Serum for that, or an anti-poison, or you can add poison before you go in. But it doesn't really matter, the poison goes away by itself. So for this phase, put on your dual wields, soul split on at the beginning, and use Massacre. You'll have enough adrenaline from that, from over there, from when you're killing Fumus. Just constantly hit her. The second she does her attack, use an ability. That way she won't melee you. And keep moving out of range, because if you stay in range too long, she'll start hitting rapid 300s to 400s. When you can, use Slaughter and Kick. At the beginning, you can also use Berserker if you prefer, or you can use a shield if you prefer to. Most beginners, and actually a lot of people, they take a lot of damage on this phase because they always stay in melee range for way too long. So Nex starts hitting random 400s, rapid 400s, and it melees them. The range attacks with protect range hit very little. While you're killing Umbra, eat up the full HP for blood phase, get your adrenaline up all the way, and get ready for the blood phase. You're going to want full adrenaline for Berserker. Once he's dead, tag Nex, put on your dual wield, switch to your first action bar, and put Protect Mage on. Use Berserk right as she's done with the Siphon, and then use some of your basic abilities on her. And just keep using them. Use Slaughter, or no, actually, don't beware that you don't use Slaughter, Massacre, or Dismember, because those will heal. Any bleed attacks will heal her on blood phase. Most of the time, you can easily get the blood phase done before one Siphon, especially if you have better gear. But otherwise, it's just going to usually take a maximum of 2 Siphons. Make sure you use Assault when you can. Destroy is good, but a downside is that if you're in a 3k, Nex will spin and it'll stop the other attacks. And if you use an ability before you attack Kruor, you're going to walk right back to Nex. So as you're killing Kruor, you're going to want to get full adrenaline. That way you can tank the first Ice Prison with Barricade. Try to get out of her melee range, because the mage attacks don't really hit a lot compared to the melee attacks since you're protecting. And by now, for most people, your overload will be done. So yeah, I forgot to reload earlier, re-overload earlier. That's why the blood phase probably took more than 1 Siphon. With most people, you're going to want to use a shield on this phase so you can use Barricade. Right as she's saying, infuse me with the power of ice. Use Anticipation, that way you'll have immunity for stuns for when she does the first prison. And so Freedom will be charged for the next one. And use Barricade. Since Barricade gives you immunity for 10 seconds, you could have Soul Split while the immunity goes away. And when you're in melee range, use Protect Melee. The freezes aren't that bad, and she'll mostly melee range anyways. For next prison, you should use Resonance, because when it melees you, it'll help avoid being comboed, because instead of being hit an extra 1.4k, you'll be healed 1.4k, which will save me many times. Even if you manage to get full adrenaline for the second prison, Barricade won't be charged yet, and I don't think Immortality is worth it unless you're very low HP. But for the second one, it will be charged. See it right now and just use it again. Make sure you click it more than once, press whatever V more than once, because sometimes it doesn't press. Or you might lag. It's done that to me many times and it's gotten me killed. Killing Glacies is very annoying, but if you can do it right, it's not that bad, and you can do it pretty quick. Use Slaughter and Bleed attacks on it a lot, and tanking the prisons is pretty much the same way you usually tank them. But you want to kill it as fast as possible. Make sure you always have Protect Mage while killing it, because it stuns you very often. So now that he's dead, I'm just going to wait for him to come back and attack. Wait for her. Sometimes while killing Glacies, Nex might get stuck to one person if there's someone standing at the entrance and get off of you, which is very helpful. Zaros is one of the most annoying phases, but if you use Protect Range, it becomes one of the easiest. If you're confident, you can just dual wield it and you can get it in really fast. Just keep Protect Mage, because the mage attacks hit you really hard without Protect Mage. And use your defensive abilities to heal. If you do it right, you won't need to heal, you won't need to eat at all, especially if you have better gear. Use Debilitate when you can, and also use Reflect when you can do that when she's protecting melee, and Anticipation and Freedom for adrenaline. You can also walk away from Nex and turn off your Protect Mage and use Resonance. That will heal you a very high amount of HP. Nex hits really hard with the mage attack on the last phase without Protect Mage, so it can heal you up to 4 to 5k HP. Just keep attacking it and using your abilities. As you can see here, my prayer dropped many times because I usually use a chaotic shield with my Torva, so I'm not used to the Arcane's prayer drain. So when you're using a spirit shield, you're gonna want to always keep an eye on your prayer, because if you don't keep an eye on your prayer, she can easily kill you fast, especially if she hits a really hard mage attack. Once you protect Mage, you could also use Berserk or Massacre, but avoid using Massacre for the most part when she's using Soul Split, because it could go into the melee pair and it could hit you really hard and deflects, and it has a 2k damage cap on this phase, so it won't hit that hard anyways. Once it says Taste My Wrath, put on your Ring of Wealth and run away. You'll still get the effect. And here I got Magic Seeds. Your drops almost always pay for your supplies and give you a profit, and the real cash comes in when you get the next items. I had 19 Rock Tills left to skill, which is pretty good. I hope you guys enjoyed this guide and found it helpful. I put in a lot of work into this, and I hope it helped you. Subscribe for more, and I'll see you next time.